Hey guys, Dave from the Nerdarchy. For nerds, by nerds, hang out this nerd.
Nerdarch is Ted.
And today in this GM 911, we got a DM that wants to know how does he get his players to stop just attacking everything?
Jump down the description below where you can sign up for Nerdarchy the newsletter, get weekly gaming tips, as well as learn how to game with us.
And as usual, the original GM 911 post will be in the not in the comments, but in the description below, as well as if you have a GM 911, you can send it to nerdarchy@gmail.com. Subject line GM 911.
All right, so we got an email from Mark, and his players refuse to strategize. They charge into every problem and think that hitting it with swords and clubs is the answer to every problem. And he wants to know, like, does it take time to convince players that strategy is necessity? Does he say, well, the players show up every week, so regardless of what he does, so should he just give them simple problems and allow them to bowl through them? Or does he need to knock some heads and kill some players to convince them that they need to do this?
Well, the first thing Mark needs to do is ask Mark what he wants out of the game, right? Like, does it matter to him, whether they strategize or not? Does he care how they play the game? Is he losing interest because he can only run one way or feels like he can only run one way for these players? So, like, you have to do some GM introspection and go, what do I want out of this game? What makes me happy as a GM? Is it enough to just have people that are willing to come to my table every week and run through whatever I put out there? And if that means I have to run a specific kind of adventure every time, so be it. If you're okay with it, then fine. If you're looking for something more, one is you can try talking to your players. I think he said he tried that.
Right.
And it didn't work. So that's always, we're always going to say that's the step one, is just get in there and try to talk to them. Hopefully they're adults and you can reason with them. Be like, hey, this isn't working. And then the next thing is you're going to have to show them. And he's like, should I just start killing players? That is one thing you could do.
Well, you can kill players without killing players.
We should say characters.
So, yeah, you can kill characters.
It's never okay to kill a player,
regardless of how bad the argument goes. You can kill characters without actually killing characters. And what this means is, all right, you present a random encounter, something that the players or their characters have no ability to defeat. So they charge in because they're presented with a problem and they only know one solution. So they lose. Well, they're now caught. They wake up and they're in a jail cell. They're in, some kind of prison. Now, they might have been captured by some hill giants, something, or maybe some powerful ogres, something that's more powerful than them, but possibly stupider than them, and therefore they put it in a rickety cage. Well, they've already been defeated by said monster before. Now they're in a new situation. They have to use their brains to get out of the cage and then possibly sneak away so that they don't become dinner. This gives them the second thought or the second option of, well, do I charge in headstrong again against the things that just totally wiped us out? Or do I think outside the box and come up with an alternate solution?
Yeah, I mean, that always works. Again, you don't have to do lethal damage. It could be subdual damage. And you can capture them. They wake up in a prison. They wake up in a giant bird cage. Whatever. You could definitely do all those things. You could try presenting them with what you believe to be overwhelming force initially, just to see how they react. Ancient Red Dragon, they're whatever level they are. Hopefully they understand this is not something that they can overtake. Maybe they encounter this ancient red dragon, barely a scratch on them. There's a decimated army around it. They've run away, and most of them are dead. What do they do? And well, maybe they're going to do the stupid thing they always do and just charge it. Again, you could just knock them out because it's decided to take prisoners for whatever reason, or it could just it could leave them for dead.
I spurred idea. All right, the red dragon has just decimated an army, and it's fine. And then this small band of heroes decides to charge. It's amused. It wants to know, like, mockingly. It could be like, what did you think you were going to do? Like, it could really just beat them down, take them back to the lair, and it's amused. It wants them as like a pet.
Like, yeah, you can do fun things like that, or literally, like I'm thinking, right? Ancient Red Dragon. This is a relatively lower level party. It's got some resistances, not many, but some. It's got a ton of hit points. It's got a high armor class. What if it were to just knock down the fighter or the barbarian, whatever the strongest character is, and then just pin it with a talon to the ground and begin asking him questions and talking to him, all the while just ignoring everyone else attacking it?
That'd be pretty funny.
As if it was beneath its notice. Like every once in a while, maybe it would swing its tail or a wing at them, but for the most part,
Possibly taking down half their hit points.
yeah. But it's like almost nonchalantly, like it doesn't care. It's not even worried about it. It's like, I'm busy. Stop bothering me. I'm talking to this thing. So you could definitely do some things like that. You can have fun with it. You can taunt your players a little bit, but whatever you do, try and do it in a way that's going to lead to more and interesting adventures.
And yeah, have fun with the role playing. Don't have it so that it's insulting the players. It's mocking the characters, and that's the line that you have to make sure that you don't cross, because the players might not be aware that that's an element of the game. You might have had conversations, but it might not have sunk in. You want to add to the game. You don't want to push people away from the game.
And then the other thing is try to present them with problems that cannot be solved by violence. Like literally, yes, you could kill this guy, but it didn't solve your problem. So you have to come up with another solution. Literally, you could do like the Dr. Evil thing and have them wake up on stone slabs, and they've all been cursed. Well, guess what? The only guy that can undo the curse is the guy standing in front of you. Even if you could kill him, it doesn't undo the curse.
I used to be a player that I loved I just want to go kill stuff, and I don't know whether Dave was just in a mood the one night, but he just refused to give us combat encounters, and I had an undead slayer, and a ghost shows up, and I'm like, all right. I start going to town on the thing. I couldn't do any damage to it. It didn't affect it. It wanted me to solve a problem. Well, after 2 rounds of magic and weapons not affecting the creature, like it kind of waited patiently until it took me off to the side, and I investigated. I solved the problem, and the ghost got to move on to wherever it went to go. I solved the problem without violence.
Not for lack of trying, though.
But not for lack of trying. Several more instances like this throughout the night. I was in a bloodthirsty mood, and Dave was not going to allow me to slake that thirst. It's just one thing after another, and you do those things often enough, and it will train your players that it's just not going to work. You can't solve this with swords. You can't solve this with magic. You need to solve this with words or with your brain.
And it's best if you can marry this with some kind of drama or tension, things that are interesting. It's just and there's conflict. It's just that the conflict just so happens it can't be solved by fighting this time.
And there's plenty of resources online and plenty of players that can give you ideas like that if you need help.
If you think about it, I mean, this isn't directly related to your problem or your question, but if you think about all the really great sci-fi and fantasy shows we've come to love over the years, the ones that are the best and stand out the most aren't actually the best because of the sci-fi and fantasy elements. It's always because of the drama that happens in interpersonal relationships that happen amongst the characters. So if you can kind of like try to tap into some of that, maybe that'll curb their bloodthirstiness as well and get them interested in other aspects of the game where they need to do a thing. Again, just like the curse, you could always do like there's people that have been captured, and again, something bad's going to happen to them if they can't be freed. But you can kill the guy that clearly knows everything and has done it to them, who's in front of you. but it doesn't help the people that you're trying to save. It doesn't solve the problem.
Right.
All you've done is created, one more body to go along with the other bodies.
Yep. So, what do you guys think? Do you have any other suggestions towards Mark? Have you had this kind of stuff happen in your games and you got a great solution you want to share? There's a great place to continue that conversation. It's down in the comments below. While you're down there, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe.
You can go get some more ideas over at nerdarchy.com.
So, until next time, stay nerdy.